An artificial moon? China builds an artificial moon for gravity experiment. It isn't every day that you come across news that people have created a new moon. But several days ago, this happened as China made an artificial moon carry out a gravity experiment. It's unknown why they would do that, but what exactly the reason was for making an artificial moon is our topic of discussion for today. If you like videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to be notified of our latest videos. The famous joke that says that China has a copy for everything is taken to new levels due to this feat. Researchers say this experiment was inspired using a levitating frog, and how that came about is still pretty confusing. Nevertheless, we will look into how the moon came to life, where it was made, and the reasons behind this study. The creative team who managed to replicate this feat is already worthy of praise, and not many things they will carry out will beat this. Without further ado, let's look into the details of this artificial moon, which was made to carry out gravity experiment. The artificial moon made will help Chinese scientists simulate low-gravity environments using magnetism. The facility behind this experiment uses a powerful magnetic field present inside a 2-foot diameter vacuum chamber that will get rid of gravity altogether. The scientists who worked on this astronomical marvel found inspiration on the project by using magnets that made frogs levitate. Here are some more details on the project. Li Ruilin is a geotechnical engineer at the China University of Mining and Technology. He has informed the South China Morning Post that the chamber will be fitted with rock and dust to imitate the lunar surface. This artificial moon is the first of its kind in the present world. Although many other models might have been made, this one is the most accurate yet. There is so much hype behind this moon because it can maintain low gravity conditions for as long as the study requires. Having a moon that is conditioned to work on the signals of humans is surprising, but it is a marvel indeed. The moon has 6 times less gravity than the Earth, and these conditions are catered explicitly on this artificial moon so that experiments can be supported the right way. Experiments would be carried out just like they would be on the moon, but since the moon isn't just in our neighborhood, hence we can't go there every time in person. Thus the need for an artificial moon was seen, which has now become a reality. Let us move on the experimentations supposed to be carried out on this moon. Usage. Scientists have planned to use this facility to test increased technology in low-gravity environments before being sent to the moon in person. This is made possible to remove any inconveniences and bugs in the machines sent to the moon. It will also allow testing of specific structures and their durability as to whether they can survive on the surface of the moon or not. The machines will be delivered, and they will also be used in assessing the viability of a human settlement. This will also give the research team a good idea of what the cost of these scientific projects is going to be. These technological marvels will have millions of dollars invested in them, and the research team behind them will want to make sure that the cost of these pieces of technology is reduced to their maximum. Lee has said that several experiments take place. These include impact tests as creep tests. Impact tests are tests that are carried out in a few seconds, whereas creep tests are tests that take up to several days. Impact tests take place in a simulation that shows the impact of a crash on the moon. A creep test measures how much material will deform under varying temperature and stress. The conditions given to this artificial moon are similar to the moon, which will be very exciting to see. Inspiration. The inspiration for this artificial moon structure came from Andre Geim, a physicist at the University of Manchester, and in 2000, he won the satirical Ig Nobel Prize for coming up with an experiment where he made a frog float by using a magnet. Some called it an illusion at first, but this levitation trick inspired a team of scientists to create this artificial moon. This trick applied by Geim comes from an effect known as diamagnetic levitation. In it, atoms are made up of atomic nuclei, and there are tiny negatively charged particles called electrons that orbit them in little loops of electric current. As these electric currents move, they induce small magnetic fields which create a magnetic field around all the atoms present in an object. Now, these atoms could be of a frog or even atoms in the air. All these atoms are cancelled out and there is no material-wide magnetism that manifests. Then when an external magnetic field is applied to oppose these atoms, there's going to be a drastic change. These electrons are going to end up changing the way they move. They will begin to produce a magnetic field on their own that will oppose the already existing magnetic field. Suppose the external magnet is going to be strong enough, in that case, the magnetic force of repulsion between it and the field of atoms will strengthen itself enough to overcome gravity and then levitate the object. In Game's case, it was a frog. This technological marvel got Game his IG Nobel Prize. Another fun fact about Game is that he's the only person in history to win a real Nobel Prize and an IG Nobel Prize. Being the first moon of its kind in this world, Lee says that this artificial moon will be a game-changing invention that will help carry out some incredible experiments and help this team of researchers understand the moon better. What about the future? The tests that will be carried out in this chamber will be used to carry forward China's lunar exploration program, Change, which has taken its name from the Chinese goddess of the moon. Of course, this doesn't come as a surprise because the Chinese take their culture quite seriously. This expedition had the Change 4, which landed a rover on the far side of the moon in 2019. The Change 5 was the rover that managed to retrieve rock samples from the surface of the moon in 2020. Not this one, the real moon. China has also said that it will establish a lunar research station on the south pole of the moon by the year 2029. This will be something exciting too, as this is just one of the many plans in the pipeline China has for our beloved moon. It doesn't often happen that a life-size project ends up being inspired by a frog and two magnets, but the researchers at this space center in China managed to make an artificial moon after looking at Andre Game's project. If that doesn't tell us that inspiration can come to you from anywhere, then what does? In the course of history, there have been some unbelievable people who have ended up winning the Nobel Prize and other awards in science. Still, this project overall isn't the effort of an individual. It's something that's carried out by an entire team that believes in making a change. When half a century ago going to the moon was considered a task in itself, people have ended up bringing the moon to themselves if we fast forward to today. This is how historical achievements are made, because when teams that have the right vision come together, the magic happens. As for the artificial moon, many good things are waiting to happen. Searching for habitable conditions, experimentation of space technology, having humans make themselves habitual in the conditions of the moon are only some of the things this moon is going to help us in. Plus, the moves made by China are immense. They are finally coming to a point where they can rightly challenge Russia and the United States in the space sector. Speaking of Russia and the United States, they will have to develop similar innovations if they go neck to neck with China. With NASA revealing the James Webb Telescope only a few days ago, China could also look to head this into departments as they look to lock horns with the biggest nations in a bid to colonize our only moon. The artificial moon will undoubtedly raise some eyebrows for people outside of China. This incredible astronomy piece will benefit China and its astronomy sector greatly. An incredible range of experiments is being carried out due to this prospect. As China continues to work in the moon sector, who knows, it might give serious competition to the United States and Russia in their quest to conquer the moon. Although there are more pressing matters to address on the ground, if many of us go to the moon, then we might just get rid of all of them.